I guess this thing is happening a little bit slower than I would like it to. Peace to everybody out there. Yeah, overnight at the G building. A little bit of time. Apparently, someone's taking the liberty to fuck my computer. And so it's taking some time for me to be able to see the other screen. In the meantime, I made some observations. Still a bit of city signs. Last week, I finally realized that it's like a really bad thing to become like an old person that has nothing left but the streets. Saying that, yo, you was once thorough out there and you still put, but you know, that guy that's like, you should be tough, right? Like that guy that used to be tough, like from like 1974 to like 1987, 88. He's like one of the hardest, listen, he was like one of the top 100 toughest guys in the country. To the south side at the time. It's like beyond that, where it's like you try and sell wolf tickets, but you can't even sell the free pay-per-view. That guy. But a woman that's like she's rocking a cat suit and expecting all the special attention. But it's a wrap. If you got on tight clothes and everything's still sagging, might be time to chill. Keep that image in my mind. Keep that image in my mind. So hopefully, when I get there, I'll recognize. To be able to stop. Okay, we getting close. Okay, there we go. So we got in here the ball. West Coast Wide, Angela, VC Brown, Tommy Rapperson, the old school. IT. West Coast Wide, you want to get on the technicalities. The one thing about VC Round, like VC Round, you might as well go ahead and be a Knicks fan. Because you be knowing about the Knicks business before I find out about it. That's what's going on with the Knicks. You're informing me of the Knicks business. I love it just the same. Kendall Road. Mythbusters in the Mexican. Oh man. Yeah, you know, that was one thing. West Coast Wild said today was his father's funeral. He had to preside over it. You know, I didn't have to do that. When my pops returned, the thing that did that my brother was locked up at the time. And he wrote a letter, and I read that letter in front of him. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't at that level at that time. You know what I'm saying? You know, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? You know, I had to grow into a lot of things where he was trying to teach me. So, you know, the unfortunate part is, yeah, he didn't never get a chance to see the full fruition of Darkim Be AllahChrist. You know, that would have been, you know, a good thing for him. You know, like it would be good for everybody to know that, you know, your child made it, you know, by the time you got to check out, you know, so yeah, he didn't actually, you know, he didn't get to see none of it. None of it. You know, I still was building up at that time. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if we believed in that type of science, because I don't believe in that type of science. But you know, if whatever type of ghost or spirit existed, you know what I'm saying? I'm confident that he would be proud. You know what I mean? Even that, like I said, when my family first moved to New York, they said rest right there. Which state building is that? On 126th Street, between 7th and 6th is where my family used to rest when they first moved to New York. Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's the kind of thing that happens at the G building. I was walking around the street the other day, and I just noticed that there's there's a lot of lane switching. See, part of being successful is knowing where your lane is at from jump. And see, like I said, you know, one thing about Yakub is that yeah, he made the devil, but you have to look at he was successful at doing. You see, that's the bottom line of what we doing. We still in the same position we in right now because we haven't been as successful as him in our building. Should we break it down into the methodology? Or if you living out your ideas, right? At that same degree, at that same level of intensity, have you been focused, right? That's what he was focused since he was a child. When Yakub was 6 years old, he told people what? 6 years old. That's 22. By 29, he's not even there. So how do we be successful in what we do? But I ain't getting that deep today. This is city science day. See, I'm foul with C signs too. Just like I'm waiting for the stuff to come back over here so I can see what y'all talking about. We put this over here, man. It's just for day 2. Y'all know how we do it. Now we can talk. Oh, it's bad. Somebody's messing with my computer too. Like if you hear, right? If you ever be here in the G building and you see somebody messing with my computer, just call me. Don't even say nothing to me. Don't even say nothing to me. Just call me. Don't even rap. Don't tell me who it is. Just call me and say, hey, look, come holler. Look, just say, look, I'm at school. Come holler. Because I don't know why would my computer be taking this long to unless somebody mess with it. That's the only way. We over here. Maybe a small screen right there. You can see my brother right there. Elijah. Okay, we almost back. This the circle buffering. I see divine guys in the building. It's live. Oh, we got K Born from Philly up in here. Y'all don't know about that. I tell you, I do the medicinal. In fact, K Born, it actually wasn't disrespect. I wanted to come out there to Wisdom Understandings Memorial, but what happened is that we had a book bag giveaway that we was doing the next day. And I didn't finish getting the supplies I was supposed to get. So I had to handle my duty in that way, you know what I mean? But, Big Sis was like, where she understands that in order for us to be a nation, you understand what I mean? The same way she had to complete her cycle, you understand what I mean? We had to keep the cycle going for those that's going to come after her, you understand? That energy that everybody brought to that cycle, that was peace, you understand what I mean? But, in my mind, I did my part. You know what I mean? But she'll always be seen and heard because we'll always be here. Are you back in Vegas? What you doing, gambling? You gambling over there? Or that your father still, your family still was living in Vegas? So you had to go back to Vegas. Yeah, yeah, I know how to, my family, I always wanted that around my grandfather. I don't know why he did that. He moves back down south. They screams. You forever altered the history when you came here and planted these seeds here. That's, that's what got it. Uh, a lot. You know how I'll be talking and then I'll go off on a tangent and come back to the story? I gotta, that's a characteristic for my grandpa. I can't say I got it from him. Like he taught it to me, which he had sent me from him. Oh yeah, this nigga here took my food. Look, let me bring that up. No, I'm trying to let it go. Got the bomb, go to the bar. You know, I was listening to this young lady today. You know, she was speaking. You know, I was in this room about the vaccines, and she was speaking. You know, her whole thing. You know, she's a scientist. And she, you know, all everything she was saying was cap. I mean, I'm saying it's cap. Like everybody was listening to her, but it's like, nah. Like the level of expertise you said you required, right, is not commensurate with the way you're speaking. Like you're speaking like a layperson, but you're talking as if you're in the elite of people that know what's happening. That's another word. City signs. Yeah, it kept going. Yeah, that was, but it wasn't uh any prior commitments. I really just wanted to be there, but it's like, yo, so much things spiral out of control. You know what I mean? You know, I should came to the point where only a handful of us really stood up and made sure the thing happened. So all them other things that happened, we have to still, you know what I mean? But that's like an important thing. I don't know if you know me, but I did it. I did a video, but I was the title of the video. You know what I mean? Peace to wisdom. You know what I'm saying? One thing I could say I learned from wisdom and instinct, you know what I mean, is and it was like a thing that, you know, I'm not really known for that type of thing, you know, but that's why I could say that, yeah, she said one thing in front of the rally one time. She just said, in order for us to be a nation, right, there's going to be some decisions that we don't agree with. But in order for us to be a nation, we got to live with it. Like we can't just, sit back and be against something, you know what I mean? Because, as a whole, we agree this is supposed to be done, but you know what I mean? At the time, you didn't see it. But we all have to be wholeheartedly with this thing. Like that's what it really means to put this thing, right? When you're saying that, yo, this thing for the common cause, a group of men, society of men, women, and children. That's when it's really time to make a decision on whether we a nation. When we as a nation decide to do something that you don't like, see if we want to separate them, then that's the end of it. That's, she built a couple times up there. That was the most important lesson that I learned from wisdom and sin. As a person that I'm known to rebel against the dirt, buck the system where you are different. When she went in front of the rally and manifested at that time, it was a perspective changer. That was the most important thing that I learned from this extent. That was the best jewel that I got. You know what I'm saying? And I know it sounds funny coming from me. That, I learned to have understanding more so than be understood. She was one of the people that taught me how to do it. You know what I mean? The first person that said it and presented to me was Jamel, Universal Flavor Man. And even when he said it, I didn't understand it fully because I think at the time we was having a conversation, he was trying to get me to understand what he was saying. So my rebellious mind, you see, she taught me something about my rebellious mind. That, yeah, that's all fine and good. You got to push the envelope. But after we decide, us that come together, when we say, yo, we in a parliament, not a rally, and say, this is what it is, saying you got to be damned or it ain't going to work. She got a lot of times, but that was the most important one for me. And to keep this thing moving. And that's, we're here today. Or to we said here, a few months back, we was building on a hometown. I was in Dansville today. The Dansville Expressway has Confederate flag flying high on the North Island. But see, you gotta remember, See, we in New York. And so we have this certain history here. But yeah, when you go down there, look, there's, 1 in 9 that in New York, we know as 1 in 9. 9 actually cuts off uh, somewhere like in, I don't even think that's Central Jersey. That's like North Jersey. That's like over there where, like the Jersey Shore, where that show, like that area over there. 1 goes straight, Highway 1 goes straight to fucking Florida. Like Key West, all of that. All along that highway is Civil War history. Like when you get down to the areas where my family is from on 95, the signs that you see down there say that it tells you about how that area was liberated by the Union Army. In the very beginning, like 1861, 1862, that area was already liberated. And when you're in Virginia, right, Highway 1 is Jefferson Davis Highway. That Jefferson Davis, that was the president of the Confederacy. So yeah, up and down, at least on the East Coast, I don't know how it is everywhere else. But just going through the roads, and if you ever take the time to look up those names, you see that, yeah. A lot of the history is in there. The history is in the language. Like some of the things, I think I spoke on this before. Like in New York, when you hear people say, yo, these and those, that's from the Dutch. The Dutch did not have the TH sound in their language. And so the way they pronounced these and those was these and those. Well, see, a lot of people, they quick to say how the New York accent is influenced by the Jews. Look, it's influenced by the Italians, the Irish, et cetera, et cetera. But that's the history. So West Coast, well, I say, my old dad lived here and died here. Half my family here, and the rest of us are Seattle. It's funny. It's funny. I just was dealing with that. Like I tried to look some people up, and I looked them up on. I don't know if y'all familiar with DuckDuckGo. It's a different. Uh, it's a different search engine. It's like Google, but it's not Google. It don't be doing tracking, but at the same time, it don't do as deep searches as Google. So I started plugging in a couple names just to see what I could find. I feel some kind of way. I couldn't really find my great grandfather. The great grandfather that he would have been about Elijah's age. I found my great grandmother, his wife, and I found my great aunt, my grandfather's sister, and I found. I mean, you can say he's a distant cousin, but I know him. Like I knew, like, he was somebody, he was running for a political office in that town where my family came from down south. But yeah, that's really my family is you got a handful. We mostly, to my knowledge, either in South Carolina or Florida. And then recently you got a North Carolina faction, but they just got. But yeah, I looked that up. I mean, a lot of people in my family didn't die where they was born. So, as I just, I was like, let me check my ID. I never, I know so many people going so far back, it never dawned on me that I didn't know who I was. So let's see how that turns out. That's a whole thing. What was the cap? I can't remember who I was saying was cap. There would be a lot of cap. It's ridiculous how much cap it is. Nah, see, you don't know about me. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad is peace to me. I was introduced to his teachings many years ago. See, I'm telling you what it is that make people don't like Elijah. It's they religious. See, I can't accept Elijah for who he is. And I can accept Elijah for who he's not. You see, when you're religious and you hear any person, you see, I'm not a religious figure. I'm not holy. I'm not, all these things. I don't communicate with the Most High for y'all motherfuckers. And I don't expect nobody else to be doing it. So therefore, if you tell me that somebody did something that was wrong, then I can accept that, say that was wrong, condemn them for that, and still keep the best part for myself. So you can tell me mostly anything about anybody. Like there's like there's some lines that can't be crossed. Just your most irregular stuff. You try to come on the news, yeah, I'm concerned. That's why I can love life. And everybody else, because you learn some new shit now, oh, the Navy being ain't the best. Now you want shit on life. See, I can't accept that was never no holy knowledge that was coming down to nobody. That was the pinnacle of what it was there at that time. That's why you don't hear me talking bad about the Masons. You don't hear me talking bad about the Muslims, because they was the pinnacle. They did what was in that time. This is my time. If I didn't do something that was more high powered, that would make my time fucked up. That would mean that I didn't learn anything from knowledge or wisdom that came before me. But just to look back and just condemn people. I mean, listen, maybe I'm speaking, perhaps I'm getting old. You know, maybe I'm just speaking on behalf of the old, because I don't know, but this is what I'm saying. It ain't no shit like what you gonna find out. I've been locked up. I smoke, I drink. What you gonna find out now? Like I haven't molested any children in the history of time. I haven't done any rapes. I haven't, you understand what I'm saying? What is it you gonna find out? Like, this is what I'm saying. These are the things, the last two things I said, the reason I said that, I forgot to say trigger warning, because this is YouTube. Let's say trigger warning. That's what people are scared of. You presented some whole other thing. See, I'm the best public relations story in the history of media. You see, I came on and rectified my image. See, because what people saw, right, or what the example, you know what I mean? Everybody saw wisdom. You didn't see the knowledge and understanding. The knowledge and understanding is made known, right? What does it say? That's what I think it is. You tell me what Allah said. You tell me what Elijah said in the lesson that I go with you. See, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. See, that's why I love being 5%. I ain't got to apologize for nobody. See, I can deal with the history the way it is. You can't ask me why the lesson say that. That's Elijah's answer. You don't know why I say that? Ask Elijah. Oh, Elijah ain't here? You got a problem. But that's not my problem. See, I understand everything in its time, its place, and its context. Don't minimize your establishment, and then look, you got niggas, you did 25 years in jail, then you would come out and talk about how Elijah wrong. What you was in jail for? Because look, it don't gotta be wrong. Somebody did something to your sister, you got the end of business, and you did 25 years. Is that what happened? Tell me, is that what happened? God, not one nigga told me that. No. One person, but I didn't ask him. But the people that I see, they always coming around, right? If you go, oh, this shit was going wrong. Where you was at? I was locked up. So I could, oh, that's your excuse. You did something to get yourself locked up, and that somehow makes you better than everybody else. I love Elijah. I love Elijah. Because whereas other people, when you look at the shortcoming, right, it'd be like, oh, yo, Elijah said this thing right here. Elijah was 2 miles off on his measurement. Yo, this other scholar over here. No, we're talking about Elijah, son, with a 3rd grade education. I mean, motherfuckers, you know, with a 3rd grade education that can say 196,940,000. Even just say that, not even comprehend what it means, and then give you all the 68,634,000, the 41,340,000, the 29,320,000, the 57,255,000 with a 3rd grade education. Did you know that in 3rd grade? That's why I love Elijah, because I see where he came from. See, y'all don't love Elijah because y'all religious and y'all want to be like Jesus. Oh, he never had sex with a woman. No, Elijah's like me. What are you talking about? What you did? What you did? Let me see how you treated a woman. So look, and I know some of the people here, y'all come over here and y'all hear me say, look, Elijah's full of shit in some ways too. He is. But I can't accept that. Because I don't think Elijah is no holy person. I wasn't looking at it. Elijah is a man like me. So you hear his wife, she talks shit. I ain't gonna say she talks shit, but I'm just saying what she said in the history of the time, of the troubles that she had with Elijah before he got exposed to fire, if you ever heard any of those stories. I don't even know why we got in that tangent. That's because I put Elijah right there. Yeah, I brought him up. Oh yeah, now capping back in the days, you gotta remember that. See, they don't have those now. The younger generation, they did away with that, right? We used to have what they call cap guns, and the cap guns was a little cap. You put them in the. It was like a cylinder. It popped out the same kind of way, and you know how they got the little thing where they got the bullets and you put them in, like they connected on a ring and you put them in. These caps was the same way. You put them in the ring. There's 6 of them, or you shoot them, or when you pull the trigger on this little toy, it went pap, pap, pap. It sounded like a, 22 or something. And those was cap guns. That's what they was called. So capping, like if you say, yo, Nick came through here capping, right? what's the word y'all got for that now? That was what's the word for that? I don't even know what's the word for that. But yeah, that meant you shoot. Like, yo, he was capping. Yo, Nick came through capping. That meant you somebody was shooting. So yeah, that is a little bit different. But see, that's your old school cats. See, as new school cats, capping is lying. But you gotta be in our age group to understand what I'm saying. Well, let me catch back up. What happened here? See, I don't know what I think about now. I'm good. Green Line in the Jeep. Something going on over here. I can't see the I'm trying to look for the comments. Yeah, no, I was born. Where you at? You in the building? Man, hold on, we back. Uh yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jack King. That's what I'm saying too. Oh, K Bourne is saying something that could be the root of it. He said in Philly back in the day, cap was used similar to how young cats use it now. We used to say, don't try to cap me up, meaning game, or don't try to play me, or a person that's lying. Yeah, that's the first, that would be the earliest reference I had, because like I said, out here, bust a cap, I'm a bust a cap, and that was the first probably uh, way I heard it expressed in the street. Like bust a cap, man, you doing about to shoot somebody. Nah, so I said I came through Danville today, but it wasn't Danville today, it was Danville Indiana. In certain places like that. Like, has anybody ever noticed that it's a Springfield in every state? In every state, there's a Springfield. Like, that's one of the reasons why in the Simpsons, they was from Springfield, because everybody got identified. Said, did I hear Brave? What's Brave? Jack King says he found his great grandfather. He was born in the Fifth Ward of New Orleans and worked in the railroad, came to Mobile and met my grandmother when he was 50. Her mom, what? Oh, made your grandmother when he was 50. Her mom was 18. Yeah, but that's back in time. Like, not for nothing. And that's, I was thinking about that the other day, that when it comes to uh, like rape and child molestation, I have a hard limit on that. I just can't be with it. I can't do what I'm doing. I can't ask mothers and fathers to send their kids here for the boxing class and I have any connection with a person who has an allegation. But yeah, when it comes to statutory rape, is hear me out. I wouldn't be here without it. My great grandmother, from what I understand, was 13 when she had her first baby. Well, I understand that that baby has some kind of crib death. And then my Aunt Kate was born like 2 years later. But at that time, when our first baby was born, my great grandma was like 13, and my great grandfather was like 18 or 19. And then on the other side, I know my grandfather, my father's father was like 17 and 18. Maybe he was like 18 and 19. And my grandmother was 14 and 15. And no. My grandmother was 50. She was 16. She was 15 and 16. And then my other grandmother was 16 or 17, and my grandfather was 17 and 18. And the significant thing, what I'm saying about those relationships, right, is that all of those relationships lasted a minimum of 35 years. Of all those relationships I named, the only people that broke up was my grandparents that she was 15 and 16, he was 17 and 18. He was just saying that, listen, you know, they could have dealt with a brother their age, they same age, right? That bounced, and we could never know who he is. I mean, So I know it sounds a little bit sick, but I'm just saying, how else do I look at that? How else do I look at that? But it's not like I'm saying I condone it, because my daughters are actually the oldest. They're the oldest women in my family that I've ever known not to have children. So it's not, I'm saying, I don't, but at the same time, uh, it's a touchy subject where I'm like, do I throw my grandfather into the bus? It's a touchy subject. I understand how I should have said trigger warning. That's a new thing I learned. You gotta say trigger warning. Trigger warning. The boss said read a story earlier about Spanish soldiers bringing some of the first slaves from Africa that worked in Hispaniola for a few years down the coast, line of South Carolina, 1526. Yeah, that's a history. We had a war down there with them. We actually won that war. We ran the Spanish up out of here. The Spanish, to my knowledge, brought the first slave in what became known as the United States of America. They brought the first African somewhere in Texas. Now, Florida is a little bit of a different beast in terms of American history, because even though it's right there on the East Coast, right? Florida It's not one of the 13 original copies. Like Florida, well, does anybody have particular knowledge of this? But I'm going to look. I'm going on a limb. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But Florida didn't become a state like until the early 1800s. Like they was in a state in the 1700s, and in that time they were still a part of the Spanish Empire. And so, it's a little bit different history, but yeah, that history, what you're saying, yeah, they had a war with them, and they ran Spanish out of it. Like that's matter of fact, you know what? I ain't even gonna get into it. We bring Encyclopedia Brown. Y'all want me to call Encyclopedia Brown? We call Encyclopedia Brown. He can tell you more about that there. You said they evacuate in New Orleans, like it's Katrina again. New Orleans, so this new, yo, saying that would be fucked up. Like I'm just hearing this now. So you're saying that there's a new hurricane right now that's anchored right at New Orleans? Whoa, you said Featherbed Lane. Oh, I gotta go back in here. She might said Featherbed Lane. Check out why. So on the way up the Featherbed Lane, oh snap, that happened. God said on the way up to Featherbed Lane, God run up on, start building with loose children. They asked, "Oh, you here to see Darkim?" Yo, God, remember when we used to be? Look, who saw that movie? Remember this movie when Nick went to his brother? He said, "Yo, look, we gotta do this thing one last time." The nigga said, "Yo, took him out like when we used to be young guys." God, that's one of my favorite lines in all of cinematic history. You mean we used to be young guys? Yeah, God. Yo, God, you know, we was thinking about that time. Remember that time we came up there? Remember that time? We was talking about that the other day. Remember that time? And look, remember my leg was broke. My leg was broke. And we listen, we still showed the reality. That was crazy, God. Hey, yo, God, is be saying the history, you know, that we live, that, you know, I was a part of, man, just being, you know, with everybody, the people that came before me and the people that came after me, was crazy. But yo, I was just the other day, we was just talking about that. How that, yo, we had some crazy times, see, crazy. Yeah, I may be looking back now, I'll be like, damn, yo, what was I thinking? But yeah, God, I remember that. Featherbed Lane. You took my up with Tila Rock and all used to live. Yeah, I used to be over there. hold up. Somebody said I was old. Which people at? I'm saying, listen, next time somebody say I'm the old one, just tell them, meet me at the pull-up bar. Just tell them meet me at the pull-up. I can't say I don't think kids were seen as kids until child labor laws, maybe around the time America learned that kindergarten stuff. No. Actually, Allah was one of the first people. You're right. You was a child, you was pretty much a baby, right? And then from a baby, you went to being a man child or a woman child. See what it was? There was no adolescence. Like all these different categories that we got now, preteen, nah, that didn't exist. Preteen mean you were entry-level worker. I mean, not for nothing. Up until my time, like I don't know how it goes in every state, but in New York State, you first can get what it is. They didn't take totally away child labor. They put rules on it of how much they gotta be paid and how much time they could work. So in New York State, you first can get your working papers at 13, but you can't work more than a certain amount of time a day or a week. And you can't, certain things you can't do. So you're right, but it's not, it's a little bit even after that. It's after World War II when the adolescent children's programs, like that's why there's no WIC. Like welfare started in the 30s with the New Deal. WIC comes about in the 60s, like after World War II. Like in World War II, you still got kids that's 16, 17, 18 enrolled in the army. But in terms of seeing these people as kids, and we got to take responsibility for them. We're talking about us tooting our own horn, so I don't want to toot my own horn right now. Which is it's a law's horn, but I see us as one and the same. Yes, I mean, but yeah, law was one of the first people that really said, no, these are kids, and it's our responsibility to stop them from this wrong path that we had, just in terms of the rise in crime that was beginning to happen, right? From us moving into the inner cities, and just now you got much less supervision. When you down south, you got generations upon generations of the family together. You get to the city, the parents got to go to work, and now we out here on our own. Hold on for a second. Catch back up to you. Shelly 93rd. And brother, I don't know, the comments cut off here. I don't know if y'all still on. But yeah, that actually is a high science right there, what you're saying. Is that yeah, that there was no adolescence. Like those stories that you see, and see a lot of things, right? And it's not about, the inherent, better or worse of anything, but I'm just saying that New York, right, was the original biggest hub. Like before there was a San Diego, a San Francisco, a Louisiana, there was New York, Newport News, and Charleston. You know what I'm saying? And specifically, those southern ports, right, is more conducive to people that's coming from Africa. See, the northern ports, like this is what I'm saying. If you ever came into New York, right, and you came across the George Washington Bridge, and you look on the Jersey side and you saw those mountains, those cliffs, that's right there. Like those cliffs is in terms of the geography of it, they determined that those cliffs separated from some cliffs that's in England. The only reason I brought that up is to just talk about in terms of the the currents and where the currents take. You understand what I'm saying? Coming from Africa, the currents is going to take you to South America. At least that part of West Africa where it was taken off from slaves. You know what I'm saying? The currents from Europe is going to bring you into New York. So all these, different the stories of the people coming here and the struggles that they went through. These people are coming here, they're bringing their kids, and immediately, like that's something that's a history in New York, right? They don't talk about. But that was happening even into recent times, more recent times than you would think. There was people that was coming to New York, right? And telling their kids, I'm talking about when they touch down in New York, like, listen, you go over there. Like we in America now, go get you a job and go live. We all got to make it. Like you 10 years old. I got 6 of your little brothers and sisters I got to take care of. You got to go. I'm saying that was happening at the very least up until the 1960s. And I'm not singling them out, like I'm just saying, but at that point, you got the Puerto Ricans coming. You got the people who was allowed to come in through the what was it, 1966, the Immigration Act. That was still happening then. Even I'm telling people I grew up with, listen, I can't afford you. You gotta go. And so in New York, there's a history of there being street kids. Like you see those pictures, I think the dude name is Jacob Reese. He took all these pictures of the slums in New York, those pictures that you see of those Irish and Italian people living all of, you understand me? All that's a part of growing up in New York. Because when you, all of us, when we go to social studies class, right, in our respective states, we start learning our state history. So see, I was watching some thing the other day, and people was, you know, all this feminism stuff, and they thought they, I ain't gonna say thought they was, but they was yeah, and the lady stand and this that, and see in New York, that's a part of New York history is that feminism started in upstate New York when there was a meeting between some white women that wanted to do business and wasn't allowed to because they was women. Some of them had husbands, some of them did. I don't know what they whole stats was, but these are the same women. You ever heard about how it was these white women that got in a fallout with Frederick Douglass? She's one of them. See, these are the things you learn. You the social studies as you go to state history. Just like remember when Darkim told us about the who was it, African town, Darkim? Who was the name of that place where you said with the last boat that had the Cudjoe guy on it, the last slave ship. See, these are things that from state to state you learn that. Then you go into the other American history in the world. Because there's a lot of things I'm familiar with from being from New York. Just like, you know, brothers say different things. Like, who was the brother that said the place in, I think it was Shreveport, Louisiana, that at one point was the capital of the Confederacy? See, you don't learn that history on the East Coast. On the East Coast, the Civil War is over at the Battle of not Antietam. There's a battle where the North has the upper ground and General Lee really doesn't want to attack, but somehow he's trapped into it. And, you know, he doesn't even want to give the order. So he tries to give it to, you know, the next general in command. And he doesn't want to give it. And whatever happens, they end up losing this battle. On the East Coast, we learn that that is the end of the Civil War. I had no idea until I started hearing brothers talk about from Louisiana, was is it Shreveport? I want to say, all right, yeah, Shreveport, I think is the last capital of the Confederacy. St. Louis is another thing. I didn't know these things, but this is what I'm saying. When you start building, you know what I mean? St. Louis was, or Missouri was apparently the last place that it was slavery in America. Like whatever is the Juneteenth they talking about, apparently it got to Missouri, you know, from what I heard people say, the latest. Boston Post Road in Connecticut, Boston Road, and the P's and the X. Yeah, Boston Road is 9. I don't know if it's 1. Is Boston Road is definitely 9. So yeah, I can't say. I know that definitely 1 and 9 takes you up to the George Washington Bridge. Now, I don't know if 1 continues, because remember 95 goes across the Cross Bronx Expressway, and then it turns and goes towards New. I'm pretty sure 9 is Webster Avenue. 1 is Boston Road. 9, if I'm not mistaken, is Webster Avenue. That's from a highway veteran. Listen. I don't know the West Coast. But between here and Mississippi, I got it. DC Realm said, well, you had Southern sympathizers. I mean, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Like you saying Southern sympathizer, but I'm saying, what about the dude? What's his name? Quan Train? It was a dude named Quantum or something like that. And Cantrell, this guy had his own unit. It was like a guerrilla unit. It was like a guerrilla unit in the Civil War. And the James gang, Jesse James and Frank James was down with this Cantrell, something what his name was. And that was their excuse. Was that we never gave up from the Civil War. We still was, they still was, that was their excuse. We still find the Civil War and we can't right now because we losing. In their mind, ain't looks. Look, because we losing, yeah, we can't turn ourselves in right now. Did anybody know it was a guy like that from World War II? That he was somewhere, I think in Korea or something, he was sniping people and everything. And when they caught him, they asked him, what you doing? They said, you talking about fighting World War II. He's like saying that shit been over, it sounded like 30, 40 years. Like literally they caught this shit like in the 70s and 80s. I remember when he caught him. And he said, I remember when they dropped the leaflets telling us the war was over. I thought it was propaganda. Like he killed his man and everything. His man was like, the war's over. And his man was about to go back. He killed the nigga. Like, nah, it's actually propaganda, son. About to fall for that. VC Round said, we got a museum for Confederate history statue too. You see, They don't got that kind of shit in New York. What? I told you they try to hide. They try to hide the real reason for West 4th Square, Washington Square Park. I mean. But we know. I need to hear Encyclopedia Brown. And talk to Encyclopedia Brown. Yeah, I think some of the Pan-Africanists, right, are problematic. So VC Row, you said the area that this museum for Confederate history won't have issues with that being around. So what you're saying is that there are areas of St. Louis that are still that highly racist that could just go over. That's what you're saying. I'm asking. So you said it's not in a part of town where it's original people named Matt, but see, because like in New York, right? Not saying that they like I said, but the pockets where they can kind of express that freely is like way out. Yeah, like I mean, in Howard Beach, you know, the Graves in the whatever that south side of that very south part of Rockaway, Trump land, York Avenue. Like there's a couple places, but even over there, I mean, it's just, you know, I won't feel totally welcome, but any like type of overt, you know, just display like that, what you're saying, a museum, uh, you know, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you gotta remember that just historically, right? Another thing that I've seen is people like in different places depending on where it's at. Like New Orleans, I see them have people the same attitude. You know what I mean? But uh, it almost seems like in some places, y'all ain't really used to a lot of black people here. Like on the East Coast, right? You know, you got like 90 I don't know what happened. Yeah, see, I ain't touched nothing. We got cut off. I don't know we got cut off, but what I was saying is that my family, being from South Carolina, and I'm actually pretty sure to this day, Black people is the majority population in South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Same thing in New York City. Y'all still can't hear me? Yeah. Same thing in New York City. So a lot of these other places where you're saying that people feel confident putting, these museums and things like that wasn't that's not an East Coast thing. At least not, you know, my grandparents, my parents, they already picked the shots for me. So, I was born in New York. I really, I've been, that was, you know, I don't know if that still exists, but at that time, in the summer, you had to go down south. Yes. That was, so I just had to go down there and farm. And I'm saying, familiar, my experience in both places was that if I didn't want to see anybody colored, like if it wasn't a particular thing, then they wasn't a part of my life. Like it wasn't like unless they was bringing the potato chips to the store or something, we didn't have any interaction. Share this is a part of time. It's man, colored people, and we got different kind of colored people here, wise and ideology wise, and how they operate. Well, that is another thing. I mean, I would. Well, you right here, so why should I guess? Uh, so you saying that I'm asking, does St. Louis uh kind of hold is a situation because like in other states, right? Like New York, uh, from what I understand in California, different states, what it is that these major cities are liberal. So if we went by square mileage, right? If we went by square mileage, New York is a conservative state. But the fact is that New York City has maybe 40% of the population of the whole state. So New York City being liberal makes the state liberal. From what I understand, it's the same thing in California. Like, San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles is liberal, but a lot of the other parts of California is conservative. And that's important for a lot of stuff we be saying in terms of like, the things that we need to accomplish, you know, especially if we try and go about that in a political way. Tap into y'all. I don't know if y'all got any questions. Yeah, my little got some food over there. I'm about to take it to the next level. Tomorrow's a rally. We can't do it all. Can't do it all. So Missouri is conservative, but St. Louis is liberal. But St. Louis County is split. Part of it is liberal and lots of conservative. So it's St. Charles County and Jefferson County conservative. Well, you know about Missouri, man. Y'all was slavers. It's something you got to look in the historic nature. See, one of the reasons why New England is liberal is because even though it's like, in the one hand, you got like all these religious people here, but see, at the time, they wanted to be liberated from the Anglican Church and the Catholic Church. Remember, that was one of the reasons. So you see liberal policies. You understand what I'm saying? Other people didn't have no stake in slavery. So a lot of times you talk about all these other Quakers, they didn't have no stake in slavery. Not saying that they wasn't sincere about whatever their reason, but they didn't have any stake in it because they were not really the powers that be. The powers that be was the Anglican Church back in England. You know, the Catholic Church, because remember, one of the reasons why the thing was sparked in Germany, right? And one of the reasons why Germany was the last to become a country and get on the nation stuff is because Germany was the Holy Roman Empire. You see, all these ideas of liberation, of breaking away from this one individual that got control of it, all of that is a part of Protestantism. All of these ideas that's in Protestantism, right, is also in what they call the Enlightenment, you know, that's another thing, it liberated the ideas of Jesus, right? And of Jesus designated certain chosen people. And so the story of the chosen people who's supposed to, make the world a footstool and everything is all a part of white supremacy. The idea of them being the chosen people and having this great bounty to manifest destiny, this Protestant liberal ideas at first was a way for all of them to enjoy an emotion of Christianity. And over time, in large part, because of the civil rights movement, going all the way back to the 1800s, right? In legal cases, of course, you're not going that far back because we know at least in 1857, they're saying that no, Black people can't come in court. We're saying that things go on, even though that nigga was white. Plessy was white, but he had the one drop. And so to them, He was black. But I'm telling you right now, I challenge anybody to Google Plessy from Plessy versus Ferguson and come back and tell me that's a black man. I'm saying me. I love all the brothers. But I'm telling you, Plessy is not black from Plessy versus Ferguson. However, we can't discount that that played a part in it. That decision, right? And then being able to attack that decision on a certain grounds, the phenomenon of that being the precedent, separate but equal, right? Became one of the main targets for the legal arm of civil rights, Thurgood Marshall and his people that was going into, they looking for each cases so that we can desegregate the school. Boom, okay, we're going to attack this right here. Where they said it's separate but equal. No, it's not equal though. But plus he was white. I'll wait right now for any one of y'all to come back and tell me plus he was black. Cause see, it's already, look, I'm good now. It's damn near September. I remember being wrong. Nah, you lineage, you say lineage you want. Look, I don't believe that shit. And I'm using the word believe specifically because I haven't done research myself. But no, see, what's happening, right, is white people are saying there's no such thing as race. And what they're defining race as is skin tone. So yeah, when you say that the only difference between us is skin tone, that might seem different. But see, how do you explain that we get sickle cell anemia more than? How do you explain that we have uh, less successful outcomes from the same medication as them? It's because those are not the only difference between us. Is not just in how we look. There are biochemical differences between us that we don't all respond to the same medication the same. We don't all respond to the same treatment the same way. And yes, what's the other reason? Like if you control for us being black, right? What is the other reason that we have less? Okay, we got worse hospitals. If you're black, you're less likely to be connected to somebody that works at the hospital, and you're less likely to have good insurance. All these things, we can control for all these things. At the end of the day, that's telling you that we have a different biochemistry. Everybody got the same everybody got the same anatomy, but everybody don't have the same physiology. Meaning we all got a heart and it's approximately right here. But see, every person, your heart might be a little bit to the right, other person's heart might be a little bit to the left. But there has to be something, right? Because see, this is what I'm saying. There was a time where they had like 8 different species of lions. But then what happened is over time, they noticed that all these different species of lions that they was considering, they started noticing that all of these lions, all of these different species would be in the same tribe. And so they realized that now these are just different characteristics of lions and not different lions. See, because you fucked up with your analysis of evolution and thinking that everybody was something different. You gotta remember, them saying that we the same, right? You gotta look where they came from. They came from saying that we were subhuman. They came from saying, yeah, you could brand them motherfuckers, you could whip them because they don't feel pain the same way we do. So yeah, they realized that all that dumb shit was dumb. And then they said, oh, we all the same. No, 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 no. The fact that you can't create me and I can't create you means something. I know what y'all about to say, but we ain't talking about 600 years. Take the 600 years out, nigga. Take Yakub out. If a woman comes to me and tell me that this white baby is mine, no, 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 no. You can accept that. Are you going to tell me that stands for nothing? You telling me, hold up, lions and tigers is related. How come a lion can't create a tiger and a tiger can't create a lion? They both cats. See, a Doberman picture can't produce a bulldog in one generation. Over time. But we're not talking about the grafting process. We talking about, can you do that? And you telling me that doesn't mean anything? You would say, oh, well, it's only 5% that makes skin color. Yeah, but we talking about something that's microscopic. And so, yeah, a very small amount can mean what? I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is my conclusion from the data because see what they say. This is the conclusion for the data too. But we can't look at all the different things that happen and say that, oh no, the only difference between white people and black people is skin color. No, it's not. And if I'm wrong, come back and show me how black people and white people have the same medical outcomes. Look, in the same hospital, control for everything. In this same hospital, this same doctor, this same condition, this same treatment. It don't work for black people the same way. 1 in 9 run through non-adjustment 9 lights. Yeah, nine really cuts off. 9 goes a different direction. And what's that town? When you come over the Gotham's Bridge in Staten Island and you go over there to Jersey Shore, 9 goes a different direction. And then 1 takes you down to Trenton and then across into Pennsylvania. Mike Conley anyone. Check him out. 75-year-old Mike Conley. I'm telling you, US9 is Webster Avenue. You're right. One is Boston Road. Okay, US Route 9 in New York. Oh, it says Broadway. It is Broadway in Upper Manhattan, the Bronx, and much of Westchester County. Yeah, that's you know, the concurrency between US 1 and US 9 that began in New Jersey ends at the first exit from the George Washington Bridge. US 9 heads north via 178th and 179th Street to Broadway. Broadway passes through Washington Heights. The region in which US 9 passes through has a, all right, so it's Broadway. All right, I-87. Henry Hudson. All right. So yeah, I knew it wasn't. Let me see where US 1. So is one Webster Avenue? No, you're right. One is Boston Road. But I guess US 1 started as a New Jersey road. The way it's looking right here. It's just describing Middlesex and Mercer. Good. Okay, here we go. US 1. George Washington Bridge in Manhattan to Connecticut. So yeah, so that means US 1 is still apparently the way they're describing it right now. US 1 is the cross-Boston Expressway. US 1 for the cross-box expressway continues another 2 miles until US 1 leaves at Webster Avenue. Hey, West Avenue is now one. Oh, yeah. By the time I thought Webster was nine. US 1 is eastward heading. First Bronx, Webster, Trima, Florida. Washington Avenue, and 9th Street. What's that? All right, yeah, I know that's not.
And you breaking daylight, man?
No, I'm about to be out on you, man. All right, now this is where we talk. I didn't know this other whole Webster Avenue shit, that's supposed to be 9. But this right here, it says right here, what you saying, what I'm saying, US 1, how the fuck does it go from? Okay, I see what it is. Well, I think I see what it is. See, Boston Post Road starts somewhere up in Westchester. So US 1 roughly follows the old Boston Post Road, an early colonial highway between New York City and Boston, laid out in 1673 for transporting mail and later utilized for stagecoach travel. The old Boston Post Road began in Lower Manhattan and went north across the length of Manhattan. It crossed into the mainland on Kingsbridge and then continued through the largely abandoned road to Williamsbridge and then across the northern part of the Bronx along Bussing Avenue. It then continued. All right, so this is saying that the old Boston Road sounds like, wait a minute. The old Boston Post Road began in Lower Manhattan. Where the fuck would Boston Road start in Lower Manhattan? So they're saying Kingsbridge. This sounds like the old Boston Road. Not for nothing. Boston Road does cut off like that.
Streets are empty.
Boston Road does cut off like that. Road. Cuts off. What is Boston Road? I think Boston Road comes from 161st Street in the Bronx. Now I'm saying Boston Road. So what they saying is Boston Post Road would have come up from Lower Manhattan to around over there by Marble Hill. That's the bottom of Kingsbridge. And then when it went across, when you go up Kingsbridge, right? Up the hill from Marble Hill, Kingsbridge ends on Ford Road. And then if you take Fordham Road from there, right, going towards the east, you go through Botanical Gardens, right? And that's why I said where it cuts off at. Botanical Gardens, Bronx Zoo, all of that. Bronx, what we know as Boston Road, cuts off there, and then it starts back on the other side of the zoo over there by Bronx Park East and Penn Park. And then it goes into Westchester and turns into Boston Post Road. That's what that's what I can put together right now from my knowledge of Boston Road and my knowledge of the Bronx. That's what it sounds like right now, what they say. That the old Boston Road apparently used to go somewhere close to Broadway. But let's click on that and see what it says. See if I'm right. Once again. Okay, so it says here the upper post road was originally called the Pico Path and had been used by Native Americans long before Europeans arrived. That's the part of Connecticut. Mileposts were measured from the intersection of Broadway and Wall Street in New York and from Old Boston City Line on Washington Street near the present-day Massachusetts Turnpike. Much of the route in Manhattan, where it was known as Eastern Post Road, was abandoned between 1839 and 1844 when the current street grid was laid out as part of the commissioner's plan. The following sections of the road still exist: Broadway, Park Road, Bowery, Fourth Avenue, from Wall Street. Okay, so that's over by the court. If you ever been to the criminal court in Manhattan, that's over there. Park Road, Bowery. There's a large gap in Midtown Manhattan before Post Road resumes its course north of Central Park. St. Nicholas Avenue, that's Broadway, St. Nicholas from 110th Street, right? Yeah, St. Nicholas curves up. Get out of here. St. Nicholas used to be Boston Road. It's right next to the G building. Switching to Broadway at 169th Street. Get out of here. That's right, where the train stop is now. So 168th Street, continue to 228th. Right, like I said, on 225th, you hit Kingsbridge, right? So that's Broadway, the Harlem River, right? So yeah. And then I guess you went across Kingsbridge. Oh, I told y'all, man. Ask me again. Right, Kingsbridge Avenue, 230th Street, 230. Albany Crescent. All right, Kingsbridge Terrace is coming up the hill. How do you put the reservoir on the other side of Van Cortlandt Avenue? But that's just a smoke there, right? Then you come across Williamsbridge. So yeah, you got to be coming across Palm Parkway. Kingsbridge don't come that high up, right? All right, Gun Hill, White Plains, indeed. 217. Yeah. So yeah, basically, yeah, this is apparently I guess Pelham Parkway. This was like Pelham Parkway and Fordham Road at one time was US one. Because you could, in order to get to Gun Hill, Kingsbridge, well, yeah, I guess because that's before the Metro North was there. Like right now, the Metro North is there, so that's why you gotta either go through Fordham or you gotta go through 205th Street. But yeah, I guess you learn something new every day. Oh shit, St. Nicholas and 152nd Street. See, that's what I'm saying. It's time for me to go. Like, I don't know why that keeps happening. Yeah, VC Realm, stop reporting me to the FBI. Cut it out. Don't do it again. I've been talking all these decades. Now all of a sudden, I get on mute. All these decades. Now I get on. 9 is 420, son. It's 420. Y'all know what that means? And see y'all later. Nah, no, it's just nah. I wasn't doing it. I never just got on mute, son, until you start coming in. I never just got on mute like that. Yo, where's Malik Lowe? Is Malik Lowe in here? That's the last thing I'm talking about. If Malik, if Malik Lowe was here, if Malik Lowe was in here, so because Malik Lowe came in, he doing the signs, and you talking about yo the earth and the signs what happened. Listen, I thought about that after we left. I was like, yo, I mean, and that's my sister. I'm not saying she's bullshit, but what I am going to say, you still want what I'm talking about. she grew up with us. Like I was already grown. I was already, you know, in my 20s. I already had babies, you know what I mean? But she used to be there in Terror Dome. You know, to my listen, Firstborn Prince, Dumar, all the people was around. She used to come through. Like, and that's my other sister too. Listen, I know her from way back in time too. It's just as you be hearing, why is it I was the only Earth? No, she wasn't. No, she. And look, you know, she might have been, you know, but not more than that. Or there was a couple of them that was around. There's another Earth. She moved up in Canada. She used to be at the Terror Dome too. All of them when director Ryan Giffords piece. At that time, we took them out when I was still like on the streets. Like when I was, you know, when nobody else was around, I was the commander. But over here, when we came here, I still was like a 5-star lieutenant. Oh man, my man Manolo Music and Films, man. That's it. You know, look, and you type of person I need to talk to. You know, because see, the stuff that's going on. I want to know how's it affecting you know, because we all in terms of how we interface with the government. You know what I mean? You strike me as somebody that, you know, at the at the least you like a contract worker. You're not an employee, you know what I'm saying? You direct your stuff and everything, you know what I mean? Like how is this vaccine stuff affecting, you know, that science right there? I got some science. I don't know if you I meant to put it, I ended up putting it in the community tab. You met one of the guys the other day that knew me. Yeah, I'm trying. I know a lot of the 5%. King out of black, that's you took him my brother now. That's the guy. You know, really, I grew up with that whole family. Like that whole family is you know, and you know, they was born in this. So even though we was contemporaries in a lot of ways, you know, they also have other lessons. There were certain things that, especially his older brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I grew up the whole thing. He's uh, not that much, you know, a little bit younger. But his older brothers was, you know, those were the first ones that I met. Like we was, you know, neck to neck like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely. You know, that brother right there, you know, his whole family, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Without them, it wouldn't have been the Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely, you know, developed on my own. Nobody's totally responsible. You know what I mean? But there is people and experiences that I had. You know what I mean? You know, like knowing the art, you know what I'm saying? Uh Lara Jean was another brother that, you know what I'm saying, See, like the art, he made sure I had knowledge with, and you had to understand, you had to be on point, listen, everything, working out, all that. The art was the fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? You got Wise, you know, Wise was one of the first people that started making me look beneath the surface. Like, nah, the surface stuff is there. You know, Rajin, like I had all this stuff. Rajin showed me how to use it on the street. So like when Joe Sells was like, yo, he think he knew me because he met somebody on Fordham Road and brother just walked up to him and started building on a building straight degree 81 and 40. And Rajin showed me how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Master AZ, I seen today, show me how to look. This here, this is court, son, and we holding it 24 hours a day. And come over here, you understand? We gonna be. He said he was in a video I shot with Ali from St. Louis. Oh shit. Yo, we about to do a video. L7. Yeah, me and him about to do a video. We got to jump off. Actually, he took my first song, son. Yeah, look, this how much this one brother got. What one? This how much this one. The producer came back finally from England. Whole other country barely listened. In the midst of all this, he made it back. When he made it back, he said, yo, I got this fire for you, son. Like, I've been saving this shit for you right here. I got this fire. So he was like, yo, listen, B. He was like, listen, B. Now I don't know Power God. I don't know Power. What Power God? Who we talking about? Powerful? Nah, I don't know Power God. Well, I know PG, but I don't know the PG you talking about. I got my own PG. Oh, yeah, Ali, yeah, I don't know. I never met him. We never interacted. But yeah, I know who he is. And listen, let me tell you something. I knew he was from the jump. Word is bond. They came on fucking Soul Train. They did a show on Soul Train, and when he spoke, right, I said to yo, so here is 5%. He's been around 5%. So it was, it was like, nah. It's like, look, the Grand Inquisitor, the doctor, the chief examiner. I'm about that. Like, yeah, so you got knockers back? And that's, yeah, I could tell Ali had knowledge there. No, me and Kenyatta Black got jump off. Yeah, endemic comes, he's like, yo, I got this fire. So it's like, yo, he has camp on, let's do the thing. So I had to go back because he did another jump off. It was a jump off. Like me, I think it's Sadat is on it. From Asia. I think Kenyatta did the hook, I think. You know what I'm saying? Damn, the nigga do other shit. This is supposed to be my shit, but then it's like, you know, he's saying, yo, but it's like I said, that's my purpose. Like, yo, give it to him, fuck, give it to him. And then we ended up doing a jump ball. It's coming, if I'm not mistaken, it's on Endemic app. But I heard it the other day. I think it's on. But yeah, he said he wanted to, he said he wanted to shoot a video for it. But yeah, though, Manolo Music and Films, one thing I think in terms of business, right? I don't think these businesses can afford to lose that percentage of business of people that's not vaccinated. So they're gonna have to pull back enough. That's my prediction. They're gonna have to meet somewhere in the middle. Y'all know I'm slow gassing. I ain't no friend. I got Kendall Rowland. I got sidetracked because, I mean, I'm not doing none of this shit. Like, even right now, I'm a little bit discouraged. Because I'm like, yo, son, I can't go nowhere. Like, I can't do nothing. I can't do no because I'm not taking no fucking bets. So right now, I see myself as just trapped right here. Like I said the other day, it's a lot of shit I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Machu Picchu. I wanted to go shit over there in like Thailand or something, where they got the Nagas and all that. I want to go all the places. Never been to China. But it don't look like it's gonna happen, man. If you know what I'm saying, if they expect me to do no crazy shit, because I ain't gonna do it. The one thing about me, you can look, all my files anywhere haven't been checked. I'm non-compliant. I'm a person, look, reason with me, don't tell me nothing about the rules. Is it a movement? Yes, a lot of movements. Yeah, you're right about that. That's what I'm saying. Manolo Music and Film is, yeah, that small business cannot survive that. But here's the question. And I'm in New York where it's like, yeah, it kind of looks like that, but can Wall Street survive without Main Street? That's the real question. If they can survive without Main Street, they'll come off with this. Other than that, like you said, the rich can get richer. You're right. But see, they can only get rich as long as the pyramid exists. By the pyramid, I mean us on the bottom, right? A whole bunch of people, and then on top, a little bit of people. So even with the size, the population control, it really doesn't work in a lot of ways, especially look, for those people in the middle class. See, because even what you said, look, if they wipe out small business, right? What that means is that the middle class has to step down now to being the peasant class. I mean, you're right. They can change the system to something else, right? But what could they change it to? And can they affect it, right? Without people losing their heads. See, because right now, that's what I'm saying. In a different day and time, Biden would be in big trouble. I mean, this what you're saying. I'm not that far separate from you when you say that the goal or the new system that they would institute would be complete socialism, right? Uh, where I would, where where I would introduce the new idea to what you're saying, right? Is and I want to put it in the form of a question, right? Can you enumerate for me the differences between socialism and what we have right now? Like, I know there's certain things on the face value that you would say that. But this is what I'm saying. And this is, just we get sidetracked. And like I said, I'm about to be out. We ain't get on to that. We have a whole video on this. But listen, in my analysis, right, the most socialist institution right now is the Federal Reserve. Like you said right here, everybody would be dependent on government. The Federal Reserve makes everybody dependent on government. Like, look at the kind of propaganda behind socialism is different from the propaganda surrounding uh, capitalism, right, in America. But look, when you look at the properties, like the characteristics of socialism, right, and you start looking at, okay, one of the main characteristics of socialism, right, is price controls. Through that Fed funds rate, the Federal Reserve controls all prices. So they don't have to set prices on every individual or multiple different commodities, because the price of the biggest commodity that most people is gonna deal with is their house. And you control that price through the interest rates. And so everything else that comes from that, it controls the price. The inflation, all these different things. See, all of this, the ability for the banks to give out loans, all of this is backed by the Federal Reserve. And just in that particular thing, not saying that all, but in that particular thing, we talk about homes, right? The FDA, not the FDA, the FHA, and they call it Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And they were paying people to stay home. That taught me something. No, they didn't really pay people to stay home. See, what was really illustrated there was how little people was making. That even when the government sat down and analyzed it, they realized people can't survive on that. See, what's really happening right now is the companies are upset that the people have discovered capitalism. See, the same capitalism, right, that will tell you if you come in the store to buy some food, that you need to feed yourself, they'll tell you, hold up, well, you're 50 cents short. Yeah, you can't get this. But then when the people figure out that, hold up, no, you $5 short to get this labor, my nigga. You can't get this for that price. Oh, now something's wrong with the system. So that's what it's telling you, that it always was socialism, because the core labor has always been controlled, Kendall Rowland, my brother, by the federal government. Remember, the Federal Reserve Act is a federal government act. So it's really just a game. I understand what you're saying. You're right. They're not a part of the government, and that's what gives them the freedom to do the things they're doing, even though the Constitution says this. And that is why they're the biggest socialist thing that exists, in my analysis. Because they still control all of that. And when the people with the money are able to control what the people in Congress are doing, that is socialism. See, don't confuse socialism with fascism. Don't confuse socialism with Nazism. See, Nazis was destroyed in World War II, but socialism and fascism was not. So you say, yeah, Nolan Music Film said, I think that was the drive, right? To see how people would act with no job, but enough to survive on. No, I don't think it was drive, right? I mean, I see what you're saying. You know what I mean? Again, I'm adding on to what you're saying. I'm not even disagreeing with you, but I'm saying, I don't think that was practice. That was the game. Practice. That was back in Tuskegee. We in the game. They would have people it was. See, we brothers, we hip. You know, black people ain't taking that. We hip, and I'm glad we hip. But what I'm saying, they ain't tried this shit. Like, they don't even do no new shit no more. All the shit, right? Yeah, hold up. We're gonna get into that, what you just said right there, in all the musical films. But what I'm saying is, all of the shit is already tried and true. It's already perfected. It's already perfected. Like, see, when they put crack in our community, right? They already perfected that. They already put what you call that shit, opium in China, and see how that shit affected them. They already put liquor in the Indians, and see how shit affected them. So they already knew what it was going to do if you do that. It's just being updated and upgraded. You understand? But I don't think it was, I mean, look, you right, okay, look, I'll give you this. That was practice, but the Delta variant is the game. Yeah, they didn't practice. You know, and then you took one right there about dumping money back in the system. That's her science too. I told people that with your stimulus money, if anybody was coming on at that time, remember I tell everybody you're supposed to invest that. If you don't invest it, keep it out the system. When they give the people money, it's not for, when they give poor people money, it's not for those poor people. It's for the corporations that they know those people are going to go out and spend the money with right away, because They're already living hand to mouth. Saying welfare is for Monsanto, Nestle, Cargill, what's the other company? These is it's like 5 or 6 major fucking industrial food companies. And when you spend that money, that shit ends up in there because you spend the supermarket got to pay their suppliers. They got to pay their manufacturers. They have to pay their growers. So eventually that money all goes back to these huge corporations. Now, by the way, and I notice I'm sidetracking, you know that's one of the main arguments for, well, not arguments, but look, if motherfuckers, that's a plus for reparations. Because if you give us reparations, so we need that money. We need to spend that money. Like think about you give out reparations saying the majority of the smart people is going to move out the projects. They're going to buy houses. That's going to spark construction jobs, which is going to spark other jobs. Other people got jobs. Okay, boy, now you got a little bit of money. They need to be entertained. So now Manolo Music and Films got work. You got to produce content for motherfuckers. That's, you see what I'm saying? But they don't want to tell you that. So I think eventually there will be just low wage jobs and government handouts to keep people from about it. Well, yeah. They just don't know. See, because we're coming to a point in capitalism, right, that never existed before. Where you have a whole bunch of mature economies, right, that have kind of mature economies, right, and educated populations that have aged out of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like after a certain period of time where people seeing like, yo, we're producing this shit, and you giving us 2 cents an hour, and then you selling this shit for $5,000 a whip, son. And you got us producing 100 of these motherfuckers a day. See, once you start asking questions like that, you're in a more good. They got to get a different population of motherfuckers. See, capitalism was never maxed out like this before. Like they already maxed out the whole of Western Europe. Remember, before they even started chattel slavery, look, we're gonna get the Irish and the all the other motherfuckers like that, and the Scottish, the Germans, the Jews. We're gonna empty all that out of all the motherfuckers. All right, we got the slave. All right, now black people is hip. We got to farm this shit out. We went to China. Yo, motherfuckers in China is hip, man. See, that's why I think, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, they can't, at least in New York, right? A lot of businesses is only operating with a 20 or 30% margin. You see, New York is a place where people invest $1 million. So 20% of that is still $200,000. But what I'm saying is, no, they can't afford to lose 20 or 30% of their business. So some of it, music and films, right, is, I'm not saying they're testing us. I'm not saying that this is not the game. I'm not saying this is practice. However, it's a test of the power of the people. See, if they scare all the people and they go take them, then they got you with you. That's it. The rest is history. The people say, nah, we ain't gonna put the okey doke. They're not gonna be able, capitalism cannot afford it. They don't have enough jails for 30% of the population. And what are you gonna do eventually? Because you're not gonna work, you're not gonna let them enjoy no kind of life. Eventually, you're gonna have to separate them from society. How are you gonna do that? 30% of the population is more people than the military. You see, we've been taught all this individual, you a boss, yo, fuck the next man, y'all don't need to be with no niggas, I stand on my own. So now when some shit hit the fan, you gotta comply, nigga. Cause that's the business you chose. It's the way you chose to do business. So like I said, right now we mostly we talk about the effects of the destruction of the nuclear family, man, woman, and child, right? And the nuclear family is what was popular when the law was around. But see, there's also the extended family, and even though he didn't emphasize the extended family by name, you know what I mean? In kind of the same way that he did the nuclear family by saying family with a child, let's have the flag that we have. But when you deal with our law of like attract and unlike repel, that is a part of the sound saying we are an extended family. You're not having sex with my woman, my kids not half yours now, but we're cousins, uncles, brothers, aunts, nephews, and you got to deal with all of us. And at one time, that was extended out. The church, all of that, civil rights, that's what it was, extended family coming together. So I had people that I thought were super religious and swore they wouldn't take the vaccine and treat me like I'm trash for not wanting to take. Yeah. That's why I tell you I like that guy. See, I like consistency. If you stupid, if you consistent, I'm fuck with you. Nigga, yeah, he at the table, they eating dinner, right? And his man started choking. And the people say, yo, why don't you save your man? And he said, no, I don't know what God got planned for him. Now, on the one hand, that's super greasy. But on the other hand, I mean, if that's what y'all really believe, I'm right there with music and films. Not just people, super religious, you know, motherfuckers, especially I ain't no friend. When Umar returned, it struck fear in some of these guys. It made some people take it. Now listen, are you for real? And I ain't gonna try to tell you what I look at. You know how much crazy shit I've done in my life, even to this day, how much crazy shit I've done. Crazy shit, guys. Like I'm from New York, saying, where look, you get up and walk outside your house, you could be killed. You could die, you could get hit by a car, yo, something could fall, people could be fixing some shit on this building right here, some shit could fall through. Yo, and not for nothing, the chances, right? Like when they talk about the people that recovered, the amount of people that haven't recovered, like to my 99.95% of the people or something like that, the chances of me surviving the South Bronx in the time I was there, yo, Brooklyn, Fort Greene, all Brownsville, East New York, all the places in the 80s, the chances of me surviving them areas, I'm pretty sure was less than the chances of me surviving. That's what I'm saying. Like you did all this crazy shit all your life, and then you're scared of some shit you can't even see. I'm not saying it's not dangerous. I'm not saying people is not dying, but I'm just saying not in my demographic. Why am I scared of this? Just the same way, look, when I'm coming through neighborhoods, right, back in that time, well, I know, yo, things happen to people over here. I'm not here, but this not happening to people in my demographic, not happening to people that know people I know do what I do. Now all of a sudden, like, nah, I'm old school, man. Like, old niggas, look, you was expected to get the chicken pox. You was expected to get sick. You was expected to break a fucking bone. You know, little shit. You telling me I'm gonna get less sick? Nigga, I'm fairly shit already. I'm not symptomatic. It doesn't affect me like that. Go the fuck on. Why would I take some shit? Okay, who's the chance I'm gonna die from that? Like if it's anywhere close, no, I don't want it. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I don't take aspirin. I don't take, I mean, so, but listen, I haven't condemned anybody. I don't get into it with people. Like if that's what they feel they need to do, the same thing life that they feel they need to do. But I did tell my kids, don't be reproducing with no people that took that shit. And I mean, you go ahead. Yeah, but I'm scared of them. Manolo, I'm scared of them. The people that took it, because I don't like to see. Now look, we discuss it. But here's the thing: what I'm saying, RNA gives instructions to your DNA. Now, first of all, and this is one of the problems with science, right? Is you have this idea that you can adjust some shit that's been going on for millions or billions of years and just make it totally better. And that the side effects of what you're doing, like this is just this is what has been going on with science for like the last 500 years. You see, if you're on the West Coast right now, I'm sure they built all those fucking dams to say y'all gonna always have water. Now you ain't got no fucking water because of them dams. Like this idea that I got a fucking genome that took billions of years to get here, and you're gonna just add your fucking instructions. What the fuck else would I do that with? Like if you was doing a video and you filmed all this shit and boom, you got and niggas like, hold up, let me shoot this motherfucking footage in right here. What? What the fuck else would we do that with, guy? See, my shit is, listen, this shit is giving instructions to your DNA. So that, I mean, how could you say that every time the shit is not changing your DNA a little bit? So now what happens? Okay, every time you got different variants. So if you got different variants, right? And then each vaccine's got to be made to the variant. That means that every time you get a little bit different instructions. And then I got to do this every 8 months. I get these different instructions in my DNA. So you wasn't on him to know the music and films, but I'm gonna warn you right now. If you take that shit and you start foaming at the mouth, I'm gonna have to double tap you. I'm telling you, I'm watching everything. If I see somebody foaming at the mouth, I gotta take them out. I might just ask them, and look, especially if they make this vaccine shit somewhere, you gotta carry, look, you got like a pen right here. So you got a pen right here and say a V on it. I see you with that V and you foam at the mouth, I gotta take you out. Not that I want to, but I can't let you bite me. Can't let you bite me. I know it sounds crazy to y'all now, but I'm telling you, don't let them bite you. if you know anybody that took the vaccine, I'm telling you. But Manola, it's good to see you. See my man right here too, right? See my brother, Elijah, because y'all know how I feel about Elijah. You know what I mean? Everybody else out there in the atmosphere, you know what I mean? Shout out to all the old schoolers that came in and checked us, Kendall Rowland, Ryan Givens, you know what I'm saying? All our regulars, people, guys, the people that, you know, be in the background doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. We're going to sign off right now from the G building. Got to be at the rally tomorrow. I know some of y'all going to see me there tomorrow. We might get a chance to go live. But, you know, we got the boxing class. At the boxing class when we take the place down there, so we see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's gonna be zombies. You know, I'm telling you, that's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm at with. Because I cannot fathom. I cannot fathom this not having any fucking side effect. Like there's just no such thing as a medicine without a side effect. So, oh, man, we had Young Dub was up in the building. I know you was there. You said hometown actress. I know hometown actress. I'll be around. So how you do? Cool. So they ain't sticking me with nothing. So like what I'm saying is this shit ain't new to me, G. Ain't nobody in my family took a vaccine that was 1990. Last time I took a vaccine. And that was before I really you know, at that time, I wasn't really into my health. Like I was already working out, but like in terms of expanding my dietary law beyond just the 5% we don't eat pig or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? And even in terms of, like I said, a lot of these health food stores and brands and everything, you go to the supermarket and buy, there was no turkey burgers. It's the supermarket where I got, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but since I let my kids got no vaccine. So it's not in particular with this thing. And that's another reason why I'm telling you, they haven't fucked with me. They haven't said nothing to me about my daughter, nothing. Because I'm not on the same thing with them. I went to the people. I had to, they called me. I didn't call them. They called me then. The whole part of education. You see, just like this right here, all of that is in the file. That when these types of things happen, right? I don't get sick, and their mother don't get sick. And they never been sick. Say nobody. At any rate, see y'all tomorrow at the rally. Signing off from the G building. I'm about to sign up for my classes too, so I give you a young medicine.